Hallo miteinander, I'm Geshady6 and this is Ghost Hunter Reimu. Last time we exorcised Kanako, or perhaps just a spirit imitating her. If it actually was her ghost, she is flat out dead in this continuity. That is grim. Anyway, no time for mourning. Already, Reimu's determination seems to be wavering. It is a good time to see a familiar face, Yomu. The samurai gardener is also making her way through Hakugyokuro. Figures, she's the other playable character. More specifically, Yuyuko told her to come here, as supposedly an important seal was broken, and that's enough reason for Reimu to receive some support. All this gets Reimu riled up, as it's more proof that Yuyuko knows what's going on, yet keeps everyone ignorant. Reimu decides to not further vent out her frustrations on Yomu, and instead arranges with her to come through the mansion grounds in different directions. That way, the incident can be solved quickest. If you ask me, splitting up has always been a bad idea in a horror setting. Could someone tell these two they're in a horror setting? Please? Just before leaving, Yomu brings up one more issue she's been observing, that the air around Reimu is different than usual. And no, it is not at all about bad hygiene. Reimu doesn't know what could cause this change of aura. Her best guess is that all the fighting has been tiring her out. And with that, our two heroes part ways again. This conversation will always happen at the third stage after the prologue. It is not tied to this particular location. About that, what is the place we're at supposed to be? I really can't say for sure. It could be an area for relaxation, the mansion's spa, maybe. It definitely has a pond or creek around it, as this is the most dedicated water level of the game. The first section of it is chock full of enemies. It even had a skull conjurer right at the start. Apart from that though, there's not much else here. Not any intricate designs or jumping puzzles, just lots of goons going after our hide. Nothing special. It's very typical for Ghost Hunter Reimu to be holding back in the earlier sections of a stage, and having them become gradually more and more complicated towards the boss. It's kind of easing you into the level, a good approach, I would say. We just threw a small object at that netherworld seal. That has to do with a new spell we purchased, and what a spell that is. We'll wait until we have a better example for what its use is, which should be in little time because I like to use it constantly. I said there was a lot of water in this stage, and we're about to take our first dive. Water may fool you into thinking it's just decoration at first, as Reimu sinks to any bottom like a rock. There are no low gravity physics in this game. But notice there is a blue bar on top now. We do have limited oxygen, and once we're on dry land, it will quickly refill. Back to our new magic. I can't act like it's a secret anymore. The small objects we throw are the lightning spell. It's a very versatile attack. You can fire it diagonally, and the little paper charms that trigger the lightning will pierce through any enemies, allowing us to wipe out whole rows of monsters at once. With this game, it happens very often that enemies appear in a straight line, so you'll get frequent use out of it. The lightning itself is very powerful, and the attacking hitbox of the charms is also bigger than you would think. This makes it so that the lightning will strike even if you clearly missed, but shot at least somewhat near to your target. It's great, so forgiving on the aim. All of these strengths combined make the lightning spell a weapon of choice for me. If it hadn't been for its steep price, I would have gotten it even earlier. Okay, third section. There is a minor new gimmick around here, nothing too extraordinary. It's these sparkling purple tiles, which are filled with electricity, and they hurt when you step on them. Just like the lightning spell's hitbox is weirdly big, theirs is as well, and that can lead to some "that shouldn't have hit me" moments. There is a strange justice to it, isn't there? At one time, the hitbox is extra generous, and now it's likely to screw you over. Such a sneaky doll. Spawned right in our back when we were busy with the blue lady ghost. Not cool. This secret, on the other hand, is much cooler. Again, first-time players might not find this one, but the prize for stumbling upon it is a crystal, a red potion, and, most important of all, a warp to this section's hidden netherworld seal. And that's almost everything for this section. Down here are the last few ghosts, all well lined up for the ice spell. It acted a little different than it did in the past videos. It never before angled to the side like that. That has to do with another upgrade we bought, the spell enhancement. More on it later. Section 4 holds another underwater secret for us. This one is a little easier to find, as a keen eye will spot the blocks while you're still ashore. That's not all there is to it, unfortunately. You can easily get yourself killed down here on some spikes, especially with those disappearing and reappearing Yoku blocks. That's what the internet has started calling those. The term's been popularized by fans of Mega Man, and for a while I thought Yoku meant something. It kind of does, but the translation doesn't really fit too well. Then I heard Yoku is just writing out the sounds the blocks make. You know, we don't all have the same ears. If it were just me, they would have become the Bshoo blocks. All that's left here is a parade of bathrobe-wearing undead. With the lightning spell, they're done in a second. Such an amazing spell. I don't recommend you tackle the spa level without it. This tip has little to do with the enemies. No, what I really mean will become apparent with the netherworld seal of this section. Because see, without the diagonally downward throw, that seal is unobtainable. Originally, I would have played this stage in episode 3 of the Let's Play, but in test runs I just couldn't hit that seal. I thought it might have been possible to shoot it with a regular attack and drop jump back out to safety, but all my attempts ended in the spikes below. You just need the lightning spell, no two ways about it. The spa is a stage I wanted to show you very early, because it's just very pretty. It might be the nicest stage to look at. I say that while we're getting messed up in the tightest of spots. Yeah, we've got Eastern-style rooftops and a bright full moon, all accompanied by soft, not too aggressive music. The atmosphere might fool you about the difficulty, not an easy stage. For example, fighting up here on the fleeting blocks is some advanced stuff. To make up for a relatively tough stage, at least the boss isn't an especially challenging one. Might just be my opinion, but if anything, it's going to be a lot less gimmicky than the snake from last time. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. That encounter will of course wait for a little while longer. The next section we're up against is the only one of this stage that is indoors, and it's starting off with a situation where our improved ice spell can really shine. The spell enhancement power-up we now have is fully passive and will increase the strength of all spells, including the standard energy bolts. It will also change the nature of some of them, and the ice spell is a prime example for this. It's really not that great in its basic form, but with the upgrade, it's gotten unrecognizably useful. We've just picked up a mysterious light blue orb. That's a rare and very situational item, which will max out your air. Like any potions, air orbs are instant one-time use. When you do see one lying around in a large pool, like the one we were just in, think about when you want to grab it. It might be the smarter idea to ration it for later. Oh boy, this portion here is scary. Use the ice spell to grab the seal, and don't hesitate to throw any other spells to cross the pit of spikes as fast as you can. It's easily the part of this section that is most likely to kill you, so much can go wrong. Wimps like this doll are nothing compared to that. We'll even get rid of all that ghost gauge it'll give us, as we've been clever enough to leave a lamppost intact up here. That's all we were missing. Now it's time to leave this stuffy building and proceed outside again to section number 7. This is definitely the stage's climax, with pretty problematic combinations of enemies and environments. We could really use Youmuu's help now, but no, our Shrine Maiden had to send her away. I would not have sent her away in Reimu's place. Then again, in Reimu's place, I would have long fled this haunted mansion home to my mama. Oh well, that is why we have video games. Once we've wiped out this duo, we'll go for another swim. If you're wondering whether you die instantly when you run out of air, you do not. You will instead lose health anytime your blinking frames end until you get back to land, similar to how the poison ailment works. By the way, I've noticed a pretty funny quirk about the water in Ghost Hunter Reimu. You'd think Reimu would lose air whenever her head is submerged, but it's actually enough for her feet to be underwater. I suppose she has breathing orifices concealed on her ankles. This is a horror setting, you know. Here's a little air hole, very useful, even more than a blue orb, because we can reuse the chamber should we really need to. As I was saying, because of how the game detects you as being underwater, Reimu could technically drown when she's only knee deep. Such puddles, as you could call them, do exist in the game. We did pass one in this very section. So to sum it all up, our expert exorcist, the mighty Shrine Maiden of Paradise, could be ended by sitting in the freaking kiddie pool for too long. Alright, all mockery aside, we've got a respectable jumping puzzle ahead of us. But before we take it on, we better get rid of all these enemies. Thanks to our diverse magic, we can do so without even endangering ourselves. Now there is a health potion to the very right. We'll be able to see it in a moment and it will look tempting. And getting to it is also easy enough. Getting back from where it is though is extremely dangerous. Honestly, I think that potion is meant as a trap for the greedy. Unless your health is so poor that you think you'll need it to stand a chance against the boss, just ignore it. Our HP are full anyway, and we still have our consumable too, so it's not even a question to follow my own advice here. On that note, we have a new and different consumable this episode. It is a large healing potion, which will restore 7 hit points, as opposed to only 2 from the small potions. The downside of it is that you can never have more than one of the large ones. You'll have to decide if it's better to bring one powerful emergency heal, or stock up on 3 wimpy ones that you can ration over the course of a stage. Time for another boss. A boss I've already downplayed a little this time, but I don't think I've spoiled too much. Will it truly be a possessed doll, or morph into another beast? It sure did, and it's a white fox demon, a kitsune as they're called. This opponent acts pretty straightforward, no shields or minions. It does have impressive speed on its side, but it shouldn't be hard to land hits, thanks to the frequent downtimes between the kitsune's attacks. All moves it has have pretty obvious tells. The lightning can always be spotted before it strikes, as it just did. The boss will also howl before the super dash. As for the slash, it will change its posture to a crouch before using it. Since all of the kitsune's abilities announce themselves like that, it's actually fairly safe to stab it at close range. One more hit and we see Ran. Is she also dead? I like her, so that would make me a little sad. Nothing against Kanako, but it's hard to shed any tears for her, with how often the Mountain of Faith spell card has destroyed me. Don't forget to pick up the boss souls, because we're immediately sent back to the stage select. With that, I'm Gashady6, this was Ghost Hunter Reimu, and next time, it may take being evil to defeat evil. Bis bald!